Now that the Maple Leafs have finally been eliminated, we can make this video and we could have our laughs. I get it, this video is not serious, it's a joke, and if you want serious, we talked about the Maple Leafs 2 videos ago. We went over their loss to the Florida Panthers, what happens next, Sheldon, Keefe, Tavares, Marner, Matthews, whatever. But today, what we're going to be talking about is sort of a conversation that popped up, jokingly, of course, after the draft lottery this most recent Monday. You see, on Monday, the Toronto Maple Leafs were already losing their series against the Florida Panthers, and I can't recall off the top of my head what was the score. Let's search that up. Leafs Panthers series. How about that? There you go. Okay, so okay, it doesn't show up on Google. Thanks a lot, Google. But here it is. So they were down 3-0 on the date of the draft lottery. And as a result, when the Chicago Blackhawks ended up winning the first overall pick, you saw some tweets be made that were very, very popular. Like this one on TSN_parody. I want to be very clear, this is TSN parody and not the regular TSN. They actually changed their username and profile picture to make it look exactly like TSN when the draft lottery finished up. Should Connor Bedard request a trade from the Blackhawks to the Leafs? And then there's a link to a TSN video. If you click the link, it goes to nowhere. And then there's a graphic of Connor Bedard yelling, and this tweet got 500,000 views. Now, because of the way the Twitter user made their username and profile picture at the time of the tweet's publication, a lot of people fell for this. They thought it was actually legit. Oh my gosh, TSN, look at this, man. Toronto is losing in the playoff series, and now they're talking about the Leafs getting Bedard. How TSN of them to go out there and do that. How trademark it is of the Toronto Sports Network to completely ignore everybody else and just focus on the Maple Leafs, and people in the replies are outraged. It's kind of funny. But of course, it was a troll, but the fact that people fell for it and believed it kind of indicates the overall sentiment that people have towards TSN at the moment. So, yeah, I mean, it's kind of illuminating either way. You also had yourselves a bunch of tweets made by other people. This was one that popped up on my timeline, posted by Cohen Storm. This tweet had 700,000 views, and a lot of people replying to this one a lot more seriously, but still kind of acknowledging the ridiculousness of this post. Who says no? Chicago gets Mitch Marner, and Toronto gets Connor Bedard. If need be, they could add Alex Kerfoot. And you could infer just the outrage and the comments and the replies in this tweet. Because everything is about Toronto, right? When you talk about any sort of topic in the hockey world, you always have to find a way to relate it to Toronto. And even though this is a ridiculous idea, I decided, hey, we just made the serious video yesterday. We've got a lot more serious videos to go out there and make over the next few days. So why not throw in a little bit of a joke? This is not going to happen, of course. But if you wanted to hypothesize what exactly this sort of trade philosophy entails, then I guess you're kind of in luck, because we can go out there and discuss that. So, Mitch Marner is a guy that a lot of people are saying should be traded at this very moment. The way he performed in the postseason was night and day from Tampa Bay versus Florida. And ultimately, when it comes to the Florida Panthers series, you had 3 of the big core 4 pieces not showing up in the ways that you would expect them to. Tavares, Marner, and Matthews each did not hold their weight, and for guys making $30+ million combined, it definitely does not look good. For Marner specifically, there's been a bigger growing sentiment that he should be the one to go, more so than ever before. But of course, Mitch Marner, as we all kind of know, is a really expensive player, $10.9 million a season. He does not have any trade protection until next year, so there is still an opportunity to trade him away should any team go out there and bite the bullet. And we all kind of understand that Marner is a very good hockey player when it comes to his skills, when it comes to the points, etc. It's just when the going gets tough, and when you need him the most, that is, unfortunately, when Marner shows up the least. He had 99 points in 80 games this season. He is still on the cusp of getting 100 points. He has never done that before. He has been at 93 times in his career. But when it comes to those postseason runs, you saw the puck over the glass in Montreal, you saw the Columbus series, you saw other series where Marner just did not show up, or he showed up in a very limited capacity compared to what you would have expected out of him. And the series against Florida definitely was one of those. For Mitch Marner, long story short, he just does not show up, and he does not carry the team on his shoulders like a $10.9 million AAV player probably should. And that's where a lot of this conversation comes from when it comes to trading Marner, or when it comes to fans wanting Marner to be traded. Meanwhile, you have Chicago and Connor Bedard. Everybody is going out there and talking about this guy, and for good reason. He is going to be the next best player in this hockey league. And you could definitely say that Connor Bedard and his status, his entry-level year as 18-year-old Connor Bedard, who's going to go out there and maybe put up 20, 30 goals in his first NHL season and 60, 70 points, you could say that Connor Bedard is already the most valuable asset in the NHL, and he's not even in the NHL. Like, you're getting yourselves already an immediate top 6 forward who could be a first-line guy, and he's 18. Cost-controlled, ELC, Chicago has themselves the draft pick that could be seen as the most valuable draft pick we have had in a decade since that first overall pick with the Oilers and Connor McDavid in 2015. Marner, by himself, is not going to cut it. In fact, I'd argue there's even a package that would suffice a Chicago Blackhawks idea where they're thinking about trading away that first overall pick. Mitch Marner at best is going to be a better player than Connor Bedard, let's say for 2 or 3 seasons. I want to give it till 2026 before Connor Bedard really goes out there and takes over as one of the top players in the NHL. Sure, at 18 years old, he might not be an Art Ross winner right away. It's very rare to see players that do that. But if he got 70 points in his first year, I wouldn't be surprised. Add in the fact that Marner is 26 years old, Connor Bedard is only 18, or he will be 18 when the season comes and goes, and you have yourselves an idea that says, yeah, okay, would you sacrifice a little bit of short-term profitability for long-term prosperity? Because Connor Bedard is going to be the top player in the NHL one day alongside of McDavid, or at least we all hope he's going to be that. And Mitch Marner has not broken 100 points yet at 26 years old. By the time Bedard is 26, I would probably argue he has 4 100-point seasons, 3, like, I know that's huge expectations to place onto a kid, but yeah, I mean, who's going to tell me that I'm not rationally thinking about it here? But either way, for Chicago, the only reason you would ever think about trading Bedard for Mitch Marner is because you wanted that short-term success with a player who is currently better today. Mitch Marner, playing on Chicago, will still be a good player, and he'll still be talented. But as we had seen with Patrick Kane earlier this year, who knows if Marner is even going to be able to get a bunch of points on Chicago because he doesn't have Matthews, Nylander, and Riley and Tavares and everybody else to feed it to. Sure, he's a playmaker and a passer, and he can score some goals himself, but Mitch Marner thrives when he's playing with other players that are also at the top of their games. Who's he going to pass it to on Chicago? Andreas Athanasiou? Tyler Johnson is still over there. Maybe the Blackhawks make a push for other players in free agency once they realize, oh, they've got Mitch Marner in their lineup. Who knows? But when it comes to Connor Bedard, this is a player that, at the end of the day, he is going to be amazing. Very, very good. And there's no reason to go out there and even think that there's going to be a trade, and if it's Mitch Marner going the other way, then I don't really think this is a winning cause for any team going out there and taking Marner. Unless you're talking about just immediately, short-term, next year, one and done, boom, it's over, then okay, I could understand that point of view, but for the most part, this is just a meme. People are throwing around Connor Bedard to Toronto because it's funny, and because everything goes around Toronto. So let me know your thoughts in the comments section below. What are your opinions about this idea? Did it make you as enraged as it made me when I saw it pop up on my Twitter, but then immediately realized it was from a parody account and not the actual TSN tweeting out that Bedard needed to come to Toronto? Thoughts in the comment section below. I hope you enjoyed this video. And bye.